the world's problems. And I think the JDA kind of gives us the capability to do that. Just to double check very quickly, can everyone see the presentation that I've put up? I'll take silence as a yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can see yours.
Nice one. Perfect. So very broadly, just going to move on. So the JDA was sort of created to help inspire the kind of next generation of innovators to bring their ideas to life. So at Dyson, you can see here we've got a range of kind of our products over the years, from our inception in 1993 to the most recent launch, which is the Dyson Zone, which was this year. We have over 6,000 engineers and scientists, and they broadly work in research, design, and development. So RDD for short, and that's pretty much the heart of Dyson. It's where I work as well. In RDD, that's where we kind of conceive ideas, concepts, we research, we experiment, prototype, tests, refine, and then test again. And this is where we're kind of the most focused on solving problems that others have ignored. And I think it's really key to be trying to solve those first and use new technology to do that and approach it with ingenuity. And as you can see on the slide, we've solved quite a lot of problems over the years. We have a history of kind of doing more with less. So you can even see it on the slide as like machines are getting more and more compact, and you know, we're using science and engineering to achieve better performance every single time. So we're always sort of looking for that step change in performance, and sometimes this is with really, really simple solutions. So from 1993 all the way to today, we've been doing that. An example for you guys that you might be more interested in is in India, there's a real pollution problem. I think air quality is quite poor in India. And I think one of the main products that Dyson markets in India is the humidifiers and the air purifiers. So for instance, the Dyson Pure Humidified Cool, that hygienically humidifies, it captures 99.5 or 99.95, I think, percent of ultrafine pollutants, and also diagnoses the air quality and manages that as well. So I guess maybe a question for you guys is, how do you think you know, we could scale maybe that technology up, or do you have any ideas that could help to reduce pollution at a greater scale and improve air quality? Maybe that's something that's quite interesting to look at. So just a wee bit about being an engineer at Dyson. In order to solve problems, we as engineers need to pioneer technologies that are different and authentic. So, for example, I'm a design engineer. I'm responsible for delivering the next generation of hair dryers and hairdryer attachments. I help to develop new technologies and products that will enhance the user's experience and deliver a step change in performance benefits. So far, that's been a really exciting and rewarding journey. I've been here for a year now. I've learned a lot about different technology, as well as management and leadership skills as well here. And Dyson has a really good culture of sort of encouraging engineers to learn and grow. I think as a designer and as an engineer myself, I'm pretty proud that we're able to push boundaries, develop a solution, and improve a technology which is already sort of excellent. And we're given a really broad kind of scope to do that. So we get to try a lot of things, we get to fail a lot, which will kind of be pushed a lot later on in the presentation, is that failure is actually a really good thing. And failure is the type of thing that helps us learn, keeps us passionate. So I think hopefully you guys know a wee bit about Dyson from that. Hopefully you can see that our machines are quite unique and unconventional, and they're designed in a way that tends to deviate from the ordinary, which means we face new challenges pretty much daily. So it's important to be prepared for that, for new technology, and never really stop pushing those boundaries. Just a broad bit before I go into the actual award, just a little bit on the design process. So what really helps us to do these step changes and these innovative things at Dyson is that we follow the design process, or this specific design process at Dyson. Primarily, everything really starts with a problem. So we're always looking for ways to identify a problem. And then we go through this cycle where once we've identified a problem, usually that's something usually a problem that people tend to ignore. We then create a load of ideas around this, and then we test it, and then we reevaluate and figure out different ways that we could approach the problem. So inevitably, that leads to a load more problems down the way, and that can be quite frustrating. But the sort of educational effect of this cycle is massive. The impact of that is massive. It means we learn everything at every different stage. So every frustration is a learning opportunity. So we learn what doesn't work, so we can figure out what does work. By uncovering those new challenges and learning from those previous iterations, we can then do that to inform our next sort of round of prototypes and failed tests until we get something that works. So a good example of this is actually the Supersonic, which is more in sort of my remit in terms of hair care, which is where I primarily work. You know, at Dyson, we really wanted to understand the science of hair and develop a technology which overcomes the problems of hot, bulky, and unintelligent hair dryers. And we eventually came to the Supersonic. Here you see the finished product, but it wasn't a very smooth ride to this. So here are 11 prototypes that were created in building up to the Supersonic. This is 11 of, I think, 600 different unique prototypes that were built out of loads of different things. So cardboard, plastic, metal, and that was done over a period of 4 to 5 years. So a really, really long development cycle, and a load of time trying to investigate what was going right and what was going wrong. It looks fairly linear when you look at it like that, but it wasn't. It's kind of a bit of a scatter plot, and then you start to refine and then taper into an ideal solution. So yeah, often design doesn't really happen in a nice consecutive order, but that's part of the challenge behind it. So a bit about the actual design, the James Dyson Award. So Dyson's kind of problem-solving mentality that I've just kind of spoken about informs the Foundation's annual international design competition, and that's the JDA. So what this is basically trying to do is it's trying to challenge current engineering and design students and those within 4 years of graduating to design something that solves a problem. The following slides will take you through sort of what the James Dyson Award is, what the criteria is for you to submit an idea, and excuse me, sorry, the kind of timelines that you have before you submit your design. So basically, the brief of the James Dyson Award is as broad as possible, and that's to kind of encourage an equally broad amount of solutions and ideas coming in. The only thing you need to do is design something that solves a problem. Which sounds really, really simple, but that can be a really, really difficult challenge. The James Dyson Award operates across 29 countries and regions. So there will be a bunch of national winners, and then there will be global winners as well. And India is one of those countries that are invited to participate. So as I mentioned, there are 29 national winners. Each receive 5 lakhs. There's 58 national runners-up. That goes to an international top 20 shortlist. Those international runners-up receive 5 lakhs, and the global winners receive 30 lakhs. This is really to sort of kickstart and allow you to sort of be invested in your design and hopefully make it commercially viable. So those national winners are decided by national judges. And then when it goes to the global competition, that's decided by a suite of judges with James Dyson as well on the panel. There's not just prize money up for grabs, so there's also international global media exposure. And that's really what helps you kind of boost your profile and may help you to secure further investment down the line. So this is really sort of a Kickstarter. I'm going to play this video. I'm not sure if it's going to work. I think, give me 1 second and let me know if this does work. If it doesn't, I'll have to figure something else out. Can everyone see what's on screen at the moment?
Yeah.
Yep. And just let me know if you can hear this.
Can't hear the audio.
Say again?
Can't hear the audio.
Can't hear the audio. Okay. I may have to do some.
Yeah, you'll have to reshare, I believe.
Yeah, potentially. Give me 1 second. I will do that in just a minute. Sorry, guys.
Sir, I guess you need to include the computer sound while sharing your screen.
Sorry, guys, one moment.
So when you click on the share icon, there is one option, include computer sound. You have to click on that and then share your screen. Yes, now.
The James Dyson Award was set up to invite students at universities to solve problems more simply, more efficiently, and more effectively.
Being finalists on the James Dyson Award has been so helpful for a young company like ours.
This award has really given me the confidence to drive forward with the idea and develop this product into something that could save lives.
Right, one moment, guys. I'm gonna have to share everything again. Just a minute. So that was James just very broadly talking about the award and how entries are now open. Let me just get the presentation back up. So this is a classic Teams faux pas. Can everyone see the screen again?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it's typical. A hyperlink wouldn't work when it comes to the day. That was basically a video just saying that entries are now open. Entry is really, really easy. You just have to visit the James Dyson Award website, which is just there, jamesdysonaward.org. You must currently be studying or have recently graduated in the past 4 years in an engineering-related degree course from a university in an eligible country. So going to Amity University, you are eligible. You can also enter in a team, so that's a team of up to 10 people, I believe, no more than that. There are a few things to consider with your application. So these are very broadly is what does your design do, what your inspiration is, how your design works, the design process that you followed to get to that solution, how your design is different from what is either currently out there or how it's addressing a completely new problem that others haven't thought of, and your future plans and awards. As well as these points, I think it's also a good idea to include a prototype. So this shows that there's a fair amount of thought behind your invention and that you've sort of considered the practical aspects of it as well. Furthermore, I think a video is also recommended with your application. This doesn't have to be that complex or too crazy a thing, but it does demonstrate dedication to your invention and also to your application on the whole, so I would recommend it. These are the key dates of the competition. The main one to note there is that it's less than a month before entries close. So entries close on the 6th of July, and then national winners will be announced on the 7th of September. After that, in October, a shortlist will be announced for the global winners, and the global winners will be announced on the 16th of November. I hope that was okay. I hope that was informative. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, sir, for words of wisdom. I'm sure that participants must have noted the recent technological trends and opportunities there. We have a question and answer session later on. Now we would like to inform you all about the innovation and startup system here in MIT. For that, I would like to call upon Professor Dr. K.M. Soni, sir, Deputy Dean, Domain Engineering and Technology, AUU. Sir has more than 20 years of teaching, research, and academic administrative experience. He has authored several research papers and articles. Please, sir.
Thank you, Siddhi. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So you're muted now.
So, dear Murray McKendrick, Dyson design engineer, other colleagues, and my dear students, on behalf of faculty and students of engineering technology domain, I welcome you all to this event. Dear students, you know innovation. Innovation is a process for introducing new ideas and making improvements. Innovation is one of the most important aspects in most of the business organizations as they strive to attain their goals and objectives. It brings about changes in the traditional way of management to new and improved methods. Innovations are found through internal desires to succeed. So dear students, you must be aware. Importance of innovation is innovation allows organizations to stay relevant in the competitive market. It also plays an important role in economic growth. So why do we need it? Innovation really the core reason for modern existence. Although innovation can have some undesirable consequences, change is inevitable. Innovation creates positive change. Innovation in education encourages students and teachers to research, explore, and use all the tools to uncover something new. Innovation involves a different way of looking at problems and solving them. It also improves education because it completes students to use a higher level of thinking to solve complex problems. And there are many advantages of innovation, which includes improved productivity, reduced costs, competitiveness, improved brand recognition and values, new partnership and relationships. So dear students, here I have a small presentation for you to motivate you. So I'm just going to share my presentation. It's a very brief. It will not take more than 3-4 minutes. What we are doing at MIT and how our students are having startups and how we facilitate them. It is very good to know for you also. So my presentation is visible to you. Can somebody confirm?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. So MIT, we have MIT Innovation and Design Center. And this innovation, entrepreneurship, and IPR ecosystem we have in UP. Important centers like MIT Innovation Incubator we have to facilitate students. We have DST, MIT Technology Enabling Center, NRDC, MIT Innovation Facility Center, MIT Center for Entrepreneurship and Development, MIT Innovation and Design Center, which Dr. Swata Pandey is heading, IPR cell we have, Technology Transfer cell we have, and Institutional Innovation Councils we have in different institutions. Academic programs, which includes, we have a separate stream, academic stream called as entrepreneurship, having 60+ courses in that. We have innovation and product design streams, have 12 courses, and we have 2 master's programs related to this innovation or entrepreneurship and family business. And major work areas in terms of these innovations, entrepreneurship development program, we organize conferences, seminar, workshop, startup registration, we facilitate students. We are doing skill development courses. Industry introduction projects are very much in MIT. Our strength is I&E cell in each institute, faculty entrepreneurship coordinators, innovation mentors of IIC, 35,000+ on-campus students, strong alumni base, 2,000+ students to start your own venture, and so on. So these are few innovations. You can see our students of BTech mechanical engineering students, they fabricated on go-kart. Their online students, they have developed Formula 1 car. I will just run through very fast, so there will not much time. Student innovations at MIT, or automatic air inflation system in tire bed pressure, fabrication of multifunctional machines. All innovations have been developed by the mechanical engineering students or other engineering students. Students in innovations at MIT, which NIDAS, that is Animal Intrusion Detection and Repellent System, wearable device for disabled. BTech EC students have developed this. Flight time optimization of quadcopter using solar power energy source, developed by BTech Electronics Engineering. Fabrication of ambient control 3D printer, you can see. And during COVID, our students have developed this smart and portable ventilator system. It's very cheap. A solar powered automatic hydraulic jack system. And innovative projects that an EMP jamming robotic, design and development of microelectronic, airport luggage handling, you can see. These are additive manufacturing and having application in aerospace engineering. There are few more projects developed by the students. So our students of engineering, they are keep on developing many systems. They are innovative products developed by the students. You can see these are products which are saline to drinking water converter, infant incubator, industrial lighting design, Mars rover 2040, hydroponics, sanitizer dispenser, safety award, college university division students got this award. NASA Marshall Space Flight Cancer students have participated. And you can see Mr. Sivang and Mr. Parichet Kotawala, they are awarded second position in EMC, App Academy, and our students of CSE 2010-15 CSE plus MBA students, Mr. Neil Matthew, he is awarded by Government of India with the prize of 50,000 rupees. Mr. Archit Sharma, student of BTech CSE, got summer internship in Switzerland with a stipend of rupees 3 lakhs plus. Utkarsh Gupta of 1721 batch, last year pass out students. Then you can say just pass out 1822 batch, Aditya Oberoi. BTech CSE, Bipul Gupta 1620 batch. Anirvind Sharma 1620 batch. Swati Singh 1620 batch. So they got award prizes in some business plan competitions or some other competitions. Student achievement in 2018. And achievements like participants of NIC 2020, Bilal Najir and team, they developed the prototype of regenerative plus system, received a startup grant of 9.5 lakhs. Navy in STEP program during Navy 1. So Mr. Rohit Kumar, 4th year BTech Triple student displaying his prototype. Other achievements includes this NBREL description learning toy for visually impaired, developed by students and of BSc Honors Physics and MTech CSE interdisciplinary projects, so MTech CSE students and MSc student. And some major national activities in which our students have participated, such as Smart India Hackathon, Drug Discovery Hackathon, Toy Hackathon, and our students are innovation ambassadors. They got certificates. Industry startup incubator. We have incubators, so our students have developed started startups. And idea generation cannot happen only in cities. So our students have also taken interest to visit in villages, hospitals, schools for knowing their issues, problems, and finding some solutions by new ideas. Siddhant Satija is our student. I think 2-3 years back, he passed from BTech CSE, and he has his own company. Rajat Kaushik, Rahat Khanna, they are alumni 2-3 years back. They passed from BTech programs of engineering technology domain and started their own startups. Some alumni entrepreneurs, Samarth Jain, these entrepreneurs, they were alumni, started their own and major innovation and research outreach. MD faculty have developed more than 200 case studies, which are recognized by 19. And this put together all IITs, their first position, MIT is second in patent. And very recently in August 21, MIT University wins National IP Award for Patents given by the Minister, the top Indian academic institution for patents and commercialization award. Thank you, dear students. And I must thank Mr. Murray McKendrick, who could spare his valuable time for this event. I also thank to my colleagues and all my students, participants for joining the event and complete them. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now it's time for the question and answer session. So if anyone has any question, please raise your hand and ask them. You'll be addressed.
I think students should participate in question and answer session and clarify all their doubts on this award, like what kind of innovations they are preferring. Okay, so I think it will be helpful for you to understand the kind. And I think all of you have also gone through the documentation about the previous awards, what kind of new innovations they were being awarded, both nationally as well as at the international level. So please ask. Yes, Siddhi, you can take over. I think some hands are being raised. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, so the core ideology of the JD Awards is to design something that solves the problem. So could you elaborate this a bit?
Yeah, so I think it's intentionally broad. So I think the JDA was established in 2005, and that's to really appeal to entrepreneurial undergraduates and recent graduates of engineering and design. The reason I think it's purposely broad is because we as engineers, not even as engineers, just as humans, we see problems every single day, and it's basically asking you to tackle a problem. And I think James definitely believes in the youth, particularly the engineering youth, and I think he thinks that you know that we are potentially the best equipped to tackle global problems and to think of things innovatively and maybe a bit differently than people in the past might have. So, for instance, some global problems that were addressed in the past was we had some winners addressing plastic recycling accessibility, some winners addressing excessive blood loss from knife wounds, and things like improving at-home medical diagnostics. So, you know, the sky is kind of the limit here. If you have a problem, it could be something in your everyday life, it could be something that you read in a news article, anything like that. You know, try and figure out a way to solve that problem, and then you'll be well on your way to submitting something that Sir James likes. And I think, yeah, just again to reiterate it, I think that the sort of key around the JDA is that you're receiving really, really vital funding, but you're also receiving global recognition. So it really sort of kickstarts your idea and gets it running off the ground. And that's really key in you know, starting to put your ideas into practical application, allowing them to help people or solve a problem. I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I have one more question.
Sure.
So what are the possibilities if a winner from India makes it to the national and international winners entry?
So again, you'll get that you'll get a funding boost, which will allow you to start to put your idea into potentially a commercial application. I think it's something like 70% of our past international winners have gone on to commercialize their inventions. And the other part about that is you can secure further investment because you have this massive platform, you have this global recognition, which you can sort of use as like a bargaining chip maybe to get future investment from other people, which I think is you know, that can't be underestimated.
Thank you so much.
No worries, thank you.
I think we have other enough to answer.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I can't see whose hands are raised, so I'm not sure who's asking.
Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I would like to ask is what makes a good entry for a James Dyson Awards?
I think that the best entries obviously solve a problem and solve a problem that needs to be solved, or solves a problem that no one's thought of that needs to be solved. I think that's maybe quite key to that. Or it could, you know, it could be things that people have thought of, like plastic accessibility, for example, was one of the winners, but no one had come up with a solution that was I guess good enough yet. But I think the best inventions are often kind of the simplest. I think if you can provide a really clear and intelligent solution to a real world problem, the judges will respond to that. I think if you're employing clever sort of engineering solutions based off of simple and fundamental principles, that's the type of thing that would normally get James quite excited. I also think that in your project, you really want to demonstrate that your project is technically viable. So, you know, it could be pie in the sky for manufacturing or something like that, but that's sort of later down the line. But you really want to just demonstrate that it can actually solve the problem that you are saying it can. Obviously, it would be good if you can include stuff that makes it commercially viable. So stuff like if it is manufacturable, you've done costs, or if you thought of like rough retail prices and stuff. But I think the main thing is really just making sure that you are addressing a problem and that your design can do that. That's the main thing.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, Priya, what's up?
Sir, hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Good evening, sirs. My question was, where do you think lies the strength and gap when students think of an idea, like to actually the actual journey to make it into a startup?
So are you asking what the sorts of challenges are in making it into a startup?
Yes, sir.
I think the main challenges is that you really want to sort of embrace the failure, which can be quite difficult. The failure of a startup. I think it can be. Sorry, my computer's going a bit crazy at the moment. So I think the key things that you need to be aware of is that failure is pretty much inevitable, and you really want to sort of embrace that failure, and that can be really, really tough. It's not an easy road to design things, and it's especially not an easy road to design things that are good, which is really key. I think in doing that, you really, really need to believe in your idea. You need to be really, really passionate about it, and you need to care about its application and care about the problem that it's solving. I think the best ideas I've come up with are things that I care about, or problems I care about solving. But yeah, definitely don't shy away from failure or mistakes or anything. If anything, you should be embracing that, even though it is difficult. There is something that we're told at work, and it's that if you fail, just fail quickly so you can learn again and pick yourself back up. I think also when the sort of challenges of a startup are, you want to have a really kind of open mindset. So, you want to follow a particular problem down a certain route, and then that might flourish and come out to a completely new problem that you hadn't thought of, and maybe it makes you think of a different solution or something. You don't need to be fixed on problems you're trying to address. It could be multifaceted. And I think also learn and listen from your customer base or your client base, whoever you're trying to focus on. Really, I think that's a key thing, is that you can learn the most from the people whose problem you're trying to solve. I think that's maybe the key thing behind that. I hope that helps. Yes, I see another hand. No worries at all. I see another hand up. I'm not sure whose it is.
Harshita.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
So, how is Dyson supporting young innovators or engineering talent that India has?
Well, there's quite a bit of big news, I think, at Dyson at the moment. So we're on, I think, the biggest recruitment drive in our history. So I think 2,000 people have joined Dyson past year, and 50% of those are engineers and scientists and people who have experience in software and coding and stuff like that. So technical skills and STEM skills are something that is really, really required. I think we just recruited 250 robotics engineers with the aim to recruit 700 more in the next 5 years. I think outside of Dyson, I think in terms of the JDA supporting young inventors, I think again it is a way to make a name for yourself as an inventor. I think you receive that significant cash prize, but you also get that global recognition, and you get that the means to sort of kickstart your dream and your invention. And it's also very highly esteemed. So if you were to win it, it would be very well respected worldwide. I think that yeah, I think also maybe the fact that it's so broad. I think the fact that you're not constrained by any, kind of narrow brief or anything. You can really just anything you're passionate about, you can address it and you can win. I think that's also a way that JDA supports young engineers. The fact that I know when I was in university, a lot of the design projects I had were quite constrained and they had very, very specific project briefs. I think it's kind of nice just to be able to go nuts and just sort of address a problem that you care about, and it's not something that your lecturer wants you to do for an assignment, which I think is quite nice.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I guess Akshat has a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I know this question is a little out there, but according to your point of view, what is the potential that engineering students have? And the opportunity like the Dyson Awards, I would like to know what kind of benefits and opportunities that will bring that this award will bring for a future development.
Yeah, sorry, could you repeat that the first part of your question again? I didn't quite hear it.
The first part of my question was, according to your point of view, what is the potential that Indian engineering students have, like over the other engineering students from the rest of the world?
Sorry, very quickly, just to clarify, what's my point of view on engineers as a whole and their potential to solve problems?
Indian engineering student, the batch of Indian.
Yeah, sorry. I missed the Indian part of it. Well, I know that when I was in Anna University, I studied in Chennai, so not Amity. I wish I studied at Amity now by looking at Professor Soni's presentation. I think you are really uniquely placed, because I think India is like one of the fastest growing economies, and it's something that the pollution problem I highlighted earlier. It's something that India is very forward in many ways. At least that's what I thought when I was there, and I was exposed to so much new technology I didn't even see in the UK, which I was really impressed by. But there were so many things that were also actually a little bit behind. So it's things like air quality and stuff like that. And I think that gives you like a perfect sort of breeding ground to understand problems from a completely different perspective than perhaps someone from the UK. I think it really gives you an appreciation for the different facets of society that need to be addressed compared to someone like me potentially. I think that puts you in a really good position. I think an example I'm kind of thinking of at the moment, and hopefully that wasn't too abstract an answer, but I think an example I'm thinking of as a past winner of the JDA was this company called Lifebox, and that was last year's national winner. That was an individual from India. It's a lady named Deval Karia. I think I got her name right. And that was basically using drones as a means to carry organs throughout India, which I just thought was such a cool idea. Basically, Deval realized that there was this real lack of infrastructure around providing organs to hospitals. I think there was around 200 heart transplants a year, but then there was like a waiting list of like 50,000 people. And a lot of that was being able to move the organs from one hospital to another, or just being able to move them quickly. They won the national winners prize, received funding from BIRAC, I think you guys call it, and they're now continuing their work. And I think they're now doing like a clinical investigation. So something like the JDA combined with an Indian engineer's perspective on local problems and things that affect you personally, or your country personally. I think it puts you in a really unique position to be like, well, this is a problem, and I can solve it because I understand this. I understand this better than someone from maybe the UK or the US would. I hope that answers your question. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
No worries. Thank you.
I think there was a second part also. How this award is going to help, the engineer, something like that. Yes, opportunities that he will get. Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I was curious to know what the future opportunities and the future road that this award brings to us as students when we look up at a career and think about what we're going to do in the future?
Well, I think so. One of the things I mentioned earlier was that 70% of winners go on to commercialize their idea, which means that they are in charge of their own destiny, essentially, and they are receiving funding, or they have received funding, and they are now trying to develop a product that is commercially viable, which means that is now their career, if that makes sense. So I think that can't really be underestimated. The example I just talked about with Lifebox, this engineer and this innovator received funding initially from the JDA and then went on to receive funding from BIRAC, and has now taken their work much more forward than it was before the JDA. So I don't think that can be underestimated. But I also think whether or not you wanted to stay as a startup and you wanted to stay as making your design commercially viable, or you wanted to turn back to a career in engineering where you work for someone else, I think that the skills that you are developing are they're not really so much down to the JDA. It's more down to what you are doing day to day. You're exercising your skills in problem solving, which I think is like the biggest sort of seller of yourself that there could be. You understand problems, you understand how to address them, and you as an engineer have the tool set to fix those problems with whatever you want to incorporate.
Right.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That just cleared the fog of a few things that I had in my mind. Thank you.
No, of course. Yeah, no, of course. Thank you.
Shashwat, another question. Shashwat, you come up with yours.
Shashwat, I think Shashwat wants to ask a question. Shashwat, you can unmute yourself. Yes.
Sir, am I audible now?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to ask that we have to develop a design that solves a particular problem. So can you please clarify more about that design? Because there are various types of design that can be built that solves a particular problem. Like there's a technical design that contains all the technical details. For example, if you are building a drone, then all the specifications of the motors and the flight controls and all that is a design. Under design is that how that particular device is solving a particular problem. That is also a design. So like what kind of design we have to build for the James Dyson Award?
It completely depends. Again, it depends on what type of problem you're solving. So I think that your question is maybe on the resolution of the detail you need to go into. I think as long as you are able to demonstrate that you have designed something that solves a problem and that it fulfills the problem statement that you have defined, I think that is enough. In terms of the granularity of the detail that you go into, it will completely depend on the design you come up with. So I can't specifically answer that. I can't come up with past examples where you have something maybe more technical, such as organ movement in transplantation around India, compared to something like there was a design recently, which I think it was last year, where it was assessing what plastics were present in a product, which means that you could recycle it effectively. And that had, I think it was 2 or 3 components or something. So your solution can be very complex and very granular, or it can be something incredibly simple. And like I was saying earlier, I think sometimes the simpler ideas are the best at addressing a solution, but it doesn't necessarily mean that something very, very technical couldn't address a problem, but it will completely depend on what you want to solve. And that will dictate what your submission will look like. I know it's a very broad answer, but that's probably the best I can give you. You're welcome to talk to me afterwards. If you have an idea, I can try and help you to write up your application if you want.
Yes.
Okay, so for example, like if I'm building a particular drone, for example, like let's take your example that you gave, that a drone which was used for carrying the organs. So in that particular case of a drone, a more technical design would be more favorable, or like a simplistic design would be just enough?
It would have to be detailed enough to make the judges understand that you have considered that solution and that that this solution is technically viable to solve that problem. In terms of, so you would probably need to specify a motor. In terms of actually designing it from, you know, the bottom down, you wouldn't need to do that. But you know, you would need to demonstrate that, you know, for instance, you wanted to transplant an organ that was X amount of payload, which means you need this amount of lift force, which would mean you would need this motor to provide that lift force on that drum. That's the type of granularity I think you should go down to in terms of the actual. Yeah, I think that's probably the best answer I could give you. Does that make sense? Or do you need to further clarify?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Is that okay? Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Shashwat actually has a lot of questions in his mind. He is a so inquisitive student. He also asks us a lot of questions, you know.
Oh, that's okay. No, I'm happy.
And he is willing to start his own venture. So
okay,
though
yeah.
he's a first year student, but he is very, you know, promising from the very beginning. Yes.
No, that sounds good. I mean, I have just thought of another one. There was a design a while ago, I think in 2016, and it was a pen that dispensed soap for children, and basically you could draw like faces and stuff, and stuff. It was probably a bit more technical than that. I'm probably not doing it, but a great service there. But I think they were the runners up in the US. So, you know, that's a really, arguably a much more technically simple design, but it still solves a problem and it's still important. So,
yes.
Yeah.
I would also like to, yes, I would like to inform that Dyson India is one of recruiters of Amity students. So every year they come to Amity for placements and take a good number of students from
yeah,
here.
definitely. Like I was saying, I think, you know, there's a massive recruitment drive this year. So yeah, if you're interested, then do apply, guys.
No, they are. I think they already have come, and
okay.
they are yeah, and they
That's
have
good.
they are recruiting for last 2-3 years from Amity.
Sounds good.
Yes. Any other questions? Ekta, madam, would you like to ask some question?
Yes, ma'am. One genuine one. I would like to ask: is there any limit that how many entries we could make for JDA awards? Students can make.
In terms of how many
number of entries. How many
number of entries?
Is there any maximum limit?
I'm not sure actually. So what if you have multiple problems you want to solve, and then you send in 1,000?
What if a lot number of students would like to participate?
Oh, I don't think no. I think sky's the limit. I think you can. I think my information is right. I think you can as many people as you want can apply.
Is the document that we have received, there is nothing mentioned in that. That's why.
Yeah, I think as you're allowed to, as many students as that have ideas, which is brilliant, are allowed to apply. But I'm not actually sure if you're allowed to submit multiple entries for one person. I'm not sure. I know that wasn't your question, but I'm not sure. I don't see why not. I don't see why not.
Yeah, so you can submit a number of entries from one university, or even they want to submit as an individual. If they are submitting an entry as a team, then there's a limit of 10 members in a particular team. That's the only limit. Otherwise, number of entries, there's no limit.
And another thing is there any kind of category of problems, like when we go for contests like Smart India Hackathon, which is organizing, so they have a number of problems, type of categories, that in which category you would like to find the problem and go for the solution. So is that kind of thing is there?
Yes, I believe from memory, you might have to pick this up in a second, sorry, but there is a sustainability award. Last year there was a medical award because there were so many good quality medical devices being proposed in the award. What else is there, Subi? There's sustainability, medical, and I think there's 2 others. Am I making that up?
Yeah, so basically for entries, generally it's a broad category of solving a problem. Majorly a global problem or a societal problem that's given, a preference. Also, like Maria mentioned, then there are special categories which are taken from the existing entries itself. Like you do not have to apply in different categories. You submit one entry, and then if there is an exceptional entry, be it for sustainability or for medical, then they are also given separate awards. But you submit your entry as one category, which is solving a problem.
Yeah, just to add to what Surbhi said, anything that you think can impact a life qualifies for a JDA entry. So the like Murray was saying, sky's the limit. It's limit to number of entries. It's also the limit to all the possibilities and creative solutions that students can come up with.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions for me, guys?
So Siddhi, if there are no questions, I think so you can ask once. You're not audible. I think there is one more question has come up. Ritik. Ritik, you can unmute. Ritik, you can unmute and ask the question. Yes. Yes.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, sir. I have two questions. I want to ask that how can I know the success of my project? Like, if someone clone my project, then how can I believe in my project? Like,
if someone cloned your project, did you say?
yes, sir. If someone clone my project after, yes, sir.
Yeah. So in terms of like intellectual property, I'm not actually sure how. I think obviously there's the patent application.
My project,
No, sir. I guess Ritik wants to say that if someone comes up with the same solution to a problem.
Oh, I see.
If you receive same entries by two different participants, so how you are going? What will be the judging criteria? Am I right?
I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think it might be quite likely that you're both trying to solve the same problem, but the way in which you would have demonstrated that problem being solved would likely be different, and I think it would be assessed on that basis. If that's at all helpful. So obviously, just to kind of go through the key things that you should include in your application, it's what it does, what your inspiration is, how it works, the design process you followed, how it's different, and what your future plans are. So there's a few ways that you can distinguish yourself from someone who may have done something similar in that. So for instance, you might have a different inspiration and you might sell yourself more in that, or you might follow a different design process that the judges might think is maybe superior in some sort of way. But I think there's many ways that you can make your application stand out, even if there are similar solutions.
Yes.
Did you have a second question?
Yes, sir. Sir, what parameter I need to check to market cap of my project?
Yeah, assess the market cap of the projects. So as I was saying, I think your main sort of your big hitters in terms of your application are demonstrating that it's technically feasible. I think it is nice to have, but it's not completely necessary. It's to demonstrate that it is commercially viable, and you can demonstrate that there's sufficient market cap. Obviously, when you're talking about market cap, you're also talking about the problem being solved and the importance of the problem being solved. And I think obviously projects that are solving a more important problem will probably be looked upon more favorably than solving something more niche. Is that helpful at all?
I have investors, sir, but they want to know my market cap. So I'm just.
I see.
I have no idea what is market cap of my project.
What is the market cap?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure what you mean. It would depend on your.
Yes, sir. It is a tech. It based on tech, and it is a website which is giving solution to a basic simple idea.
I think that question, Murray, or any of us from Dyson would not be able to answer, because you're talking about a third party investor into your idea. So that's completely different. So I don't think we are in the right space. You should consult your teachers maybe. And they are better placed to help you with that answer.
Yeah, sorry. I think it's
Yes, actually Amity is helping a lot of students to start their own ventures. And we initially, take choice from the students from the very beginning when they join the campus. like what they want to be in future. So
Yeah.
either they want a job, or they want to start their own venture, or they want to go for higher studies. So we take all the options from the students, and accordingly we provide help to them.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably your best source to go to, not me.
Yeah.
So yes, I think
we can
we
close
are,
the session.
yes, we can. Yes, Surbi, would you like to convey the vote of thanks and close the session? Uh, uh, yes, Siddhi?
Yes, ma'am. With this, we come to the end of today's session. I would like to thank all of the Dyson engineers who are present here today and took all of our questions and explained to us about the Dyson award. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Matt.
Yes, on behalf of all Amity fraternity, I would like to thank everyone to spend their time with the students. It was really a very nice session. And yes, it was very nice of the team, to make us aware of this award. And definitely Amity will be participating in big way in this award function. Yes, thank you.
Thank you guys, and good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Sujata. And I think Amity has done a fabulous job in helping us host this. So thank you so much. And we will certainly look forward to seeing more entries. But just remember that the deadline is coming soon.
Right.
So let's just hurry up, and yeah, we'll wait to look at the great solutions that students come up with. Good luck to everyone, and thank you again.
Thank you.
6th of July.
Ekta, you may close the session.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Hi guys.
Thank you. Bye.